Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special pay-per-view predictions episode of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B. And the pay-per-view which I'm reviewing this month is the Raw exclusive pay-per-view Extreme Rules. This is the second pay-per-view in a row, Raw exclusive pay-per-view in a row with no Universal Championship match. And I think, and this is mainly because Brock Lesnar is a lazy, uncaring champion, probably the most uncaring champion of all time. So having said that, Vince McMahon, to try and soften the blow with no championship match on the card, made sure to have every other title on Raw being disputed on the show. So let's get right to the predictions here. So the first match of the night is the mixed tag team match, with Rich Swann and Sasha Banks facing off against Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. I gotta say, I don't really like mixed tag team matches because it doesn't do a whole lot for any of the wrestlers involved, and it doesn't give much of a strong push for any of the wrestlers. This particular match is also kind of a time filler match, and I also gotta say that hardly any of these performers, besides Sasha Banks, have been in any of the pay-per-views this year. Rich Swann was in one other one on the main card, defending the Cruiserweight Championship when he lost to Neville. But besides that, Sasha Banks is the only one here who has actually been featured on the main card of any pay-per-view. So this match really is something that should be seen on Raw instead of on a pay-per-view. So having said that, I also feel that Sasha Banks deserves to get back into the title picture for the Raw Women's Tag Team, or Raw Women's Championship. So I believe that Sasha Banks and Rich Swann will be the victors here, and that I hope Sasha Banks will then re-enter the title scene, and hopefully against the winner of the Alexa Bliss and Bayley match. So Rich Swann and Sasha Banks are the winners of that match. The next one up is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship between Champion Neville, taking on Austin Aries for the third time in a row. However, this time it is a submission match. So I'm going to have to go with Austin Aries winning the title finally, just because the WWE he deserves to get a chance winning the belt, so he deserves his shot, and I guess the WWE can always go back to Neville if they're unsatisfied with Austin Aries' run as a champion. So I believe Austin Aries will win the WWE Cruiserweight Championship here. The next match is for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships between the champions, the Hardy Boys, versus the new heel team of Cesaro and Sheamus. This one was kind of a tough one for me because since Cesaro and Sheamus turned heel, I felt like, the best way to give them that real heel push would be to give them the titles. But having said that, this is at a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules. The Hardy Boys are also known as Team Extreme, and this is also a steel cage match. And also, given the fact that the Hardy Boys are on the promotional poster for this pay-per-view, ultimately, I feel like the Hardy Boys have to retain the titles here. This one, I can easily see Vince, screwing those guys and having the new heels, Cesaro and Sheamus, winning the titles. But just with all those other factors, I gotta choose the Hardy Boys retaining their titles on this show. So the Hardy Boys are the victors of that match. The next one up is for the WWE Raw Women's Championship between Alexa Bliss, who is the champion, versus Bayley. And this match is a special kendo stick on a pole match. I got to say that I think Vince sees a lot of potential with Alexa Bliss as a champion. I think she's good all around with the look, with her in-ring skills, and she's good on the mic. So I don't see Alexa Bliss losing her title just yet. And with what I mentioned earlier, with Sasha Banks hopefully getting back into the title hunt, I could see Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks doing a really great program for the next several months, and I hope that that's what the WWE decides to do. So I'm gonna stick with Alexa Bliss retaining her WWE Raw Women's Championship on this show. And the next one is for the WWE Intercontinental title between champion Dean Ambrose and The Miz. These guys have also squared off a few times in recent months for this title. And this match has a special stipulation where if Dean Ambrose is disqualified, he loses the championship. So I'm thinking with a stipulation like that, I have a feeling The Miz can come up with a number of ways to get Ambrose disqualified so The Miz can win the championship. This is definitely what The Miz, this is up his alley, winning in a dirty way so he can get the title. So he's going to win. The Miz will win his, I believe, 7th Intercontinental Championship at this show. And the main event is the fatal 5-way match to determine the number 1 contender for the Universal title against Brock Lesnar. This match has Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe. And this match, like I said before, is not for a championship. This is for the number 1 contender to face Brock Lesnar at a later date. We're not sure when that's supposed to be. I have a feeling that they're saving Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for one of the big 4 pay-per-views, which means that it's either for WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, or Survivor Series. So, and I even think that they could build that feud up until next year's WrestleMania, even though this match was at WrestleMania 31, I believe. So this is something that they're not going to rush. They're going to take their time and develop that. And I also feel with a few weeks ago with Paul Heyman interrupting Finn Balor on Monday Night Raw, and he also interrupted no other wrestlers that are competing in this match. Heyman came out and said how him and Lesnar respect Finn Balor, and that they are taking notice of him. So I have a feeling that if they don't do something with this new angle, that it's just sort of a waste. So, and also given the fact that Finn Balor never lost his Universal Championship, he was the first one after beating Seth Rollins last year at SummerSlam, and he had to give up the title because Seth Rollins, who's a notorious bad worker in the ring, he hurt Finn Balor and put him out for several months. So I think that Finn Balor makes sense for winning this match, and I think that he'll get the pinfall over Bray Wyatt or Samoa Joe. Okay, so yeah, that's it. There's only 6 matches on this pay-per-view here this Sunday, and I believe there's going to be the 2 title changes, the Intercontinental Championship changing hands, as well as the Cruiserweight Championship. We'll see also if I can improve on my predictions. From the previous 2 prediction shows, I'm sitting at 50% with 7 out of 14, so I need to certainly improve those numbers. So anyways, that is it. Hopefully this Extreme Rules show is good, even though we don't have a heavyweight WWE Universal Championship match. Thanks, Brock Lesnar and Vince. So, if you liked what you heard, please subscribe below. And don't forget to leave any comments or suggestions below. So thanks for listening, and see you next time.